going on, everyone? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for episode 592 of the Vant Rant. Today's just one of those days where you kind of sit back and wonder what the hell is this price action. But regardless, I had a really good day. At least overnight I did. Caught some good moves. Some decent moves. As expected, price action today. A couple things that came out as far as headlines. But first, what's going on, Mike? How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm just gonna fall asleep in my chair over here. Just had to wake myself up for the show.
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of mentioned be careful here. It could be a bear trap setting up, but price action setting up pretty nicely for us in here. Gave us, some good opportunities, and you just got to go with the opportunities. You can't get bullish in here, and you can't get bearish, and you just got to be flexible and trade, what the market gives you. And that's the way it goes, man.
Yeah, it was tough. If I didn't take that gold trade overnight, I probably would have not had a trade today because commodities were really, really ugly today. Yeah, it just wasn't much out there for me as far as trading goes. But, just OPEC didn't help. I mean, I thought maybe we get some type of sell-off or some type of movement from OPEC's news today. Nah, I didn't get really anything. So, kind of a dull market out there today.
Yeah, it is kind of dull. Though it's, let's go to the charts because it is giving us some trading opportunities. And actually, I want to pull up my other charts here. Sorry about this. I haven't even set up my charts yet today, but it is giving us some it is giving us some opportunities in here, and that's all you can ask for, right? As a trader, just again, can't get too bearish, can't get bullish at all, and just trade the price action as it is, because before you know it, it's going to change. But if you look in here, can you see what charts, Ty?
Yes.
All right. So again, we're kind of trading within this range. We did not break down off this 371, 370 level, which is bullish. Okay. So we didn't, the fact that we didn't really fall down right now, at least, is definitely a bullish sign. So, today's a holiday, and you can see very light volume bar. It's a Jewish holiday. So we always say to you guys, don't short a dull market. And this is exactly the type of market that we're kind of talking about. But so right now, with us holding this level, having an inside bar, definitely bullish, right? I mean, it's got to be considered bullish price action in here. So, and this market's set up to increase it to inflict the most amount of pain. And I still think we've got a trend line challenge, this 380 challenge up on the SPY before we reject and head lower for new lows. So just be careful in here. We're kind of in the middle, and I always say don't diddle in the middle. What I'm talking about, man. Just be careful. The other thing is, and I get your opinion on this, Ty, because if you look at the 4-hour chart, kind of stretch in, the fact that we reclaimed this level, this 373.66 level, or whatever you want to call it, within that range, definitely bullish.
Yeah, I talked about it this morning. I mentioned that we're selling off into this inflection zone here where we had a previous area of contention back in June, and then this previous point here back in the beginning of October, end of September here, and we were coming down to retest it. And I talked about this is really the zone that we got to see hold. And if you look at current price action, I guess as a more of an intermediate level here, we did come down and retest the bottom, the backside of this trend line here. And so it seems like we're setting up for a little bit more of a rally out of here to retest maybe 390, retest this trend line here, or this moving average, retest the last point of intersection with this, big bearish volume here. And so it kind of seems like it's setting up for a little bit of a squeeze back towards 390. And that's kind of what happened with, this is a pretty nice moving average here. It's kind of what happened back here as well. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as we hold this, 375 area, I think we got some more bullish action in front of us.
Yeah, look, we could sell off into the close. Who the heck knows? You do have rates kind of hanging up a little bit, and so that's something that we'll talk about in a little bit. So get a little bit of dislocation. But again, when you have a market that is just so oversold, and again, we talked about yesterday, the bear market rally that we're currently in, and some of these rallies are the best. I was doing some research, and somebody did an analysis of the 100 largest gains over 3%, and over 60% of those rallies have occurred during bear markets. We talked about yesterday 2 straight 2% or more increased days coming out of a 52-week low. Last time that happened, 2008, we went down another 35%. So just take it for what it is. These rallies give us great trading opportunities to the upside. And I think, you have some traders jumping the gun. I saw there was a heavy put, lotto puts going on. And I think that only spurs the market to not go down, right? When you got a lot of put offers going off, I think that that kind of, the max gain then is to max pain, is to the upside. We did have some data though, right, Ty?
Yeah.
So we had SP Global Services PMI, and we had ISM Services.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, it was interesting because as you expect how they're, usually diverges. The S&P came in better than expected, and the ISM non-manufacturing PMI came in, it was worse than expected, right? So
yeah, well, absolutely.
Or was it the
way
flex?
around? Yeah, it was ISM came in better than expected.
Okay,
yeah. And there's a divergence between S&P last couple months and ISM. So that's something to kind of keep an eye out. ISM came in 56.7. S&P came in at 49.3. Third straight month, by the way, for S&P Global Services being in contraction territory. If you really break down ISM, you saw new orders and prices have slowed, but employment has improved. So that's all stuff to really keep an eye out and keep a target on, as obviously the economy not really falling off. GDP now surged, new print came out, surged to 2.7%. Guess recession's over. And again, all that stuff not good if you're thinking that, the Fed's going to let the foot off the pedal. But then you have Poland come out today, and Poland came out and basically said they're holding rates, they're not raising rates. So you can add a third central bank to the pivot table. So I think the market's getting a little bit of rally out of that. That's definitely important. But really, to me today, we sold off in the morning because, look, Kramer came out this morning, said he's the most long he's ever been. So where else are we going?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. And, to no surprise, ADP's print is still dog shit. Last revision, massive revision from 132 to 185. Massive revision to the jobs numbers on ADP. And, of course, today we beat expectations a little bit. But, obviously nobody gives a shit about ADP right now, so...
No, nobody cared about ADP before they changed ADP.
Yeah, right.
So I don't see anybody caring about ADP in here. So, exactly. Anyhow, market's continuing, squeeze is on. So, again, we've added some positions, but don't get too bullish. just be careful. You got AMD, nice little cup and handle push up. You got Amazon breaking 15-minute highs from the early 15-minute highs in there. You got Rivian coming off the mat. You got some stocks kind of moving in here, so you got some plays to kind of trade. But be careful if you're trading semis because we got some more information coming out, supposedly some negative information from the White House that they're looking for more limitations as far as overseas customers and such like that. You got Apple, trying to go green. So you definitely got a surge in here and play it for what it is. Play it for what it is. If we go back through the charts, I mean, looking in here, you got the 15-minute chart. You can see we did kind of pop down into this gap that the SPY made yesterday. I kind of thought maybe we'd fill that gap and then come back up, but just a little bit of a dip. We basically dipped our toes in the water, but kind of popped up. Didn't go as low as I thought we were. I had a 37.30 level on the ES that we just never quite got to, but it gave some good trading opportunities. And again, you can see here, this is this V shape. So again, this is bullish, right? And if you look in here, it gave nice A+ setup just recently. We had a nice little break of the 15-minute highs that we had here. You had a nice retest, and now we're surging higher. So that's a pretty nice trade right there, Ty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty nice trade. We had a nice little pennant. I mean, you can tell they were really closing in tight on the 10 o'clock hour. And then once we had a better than expected ISM, that's when they kind of surged us down. And so now we're just kind of coming out of that trade right now. So not too bad. You got Qs trying to get back above this trend line here like it did yesterday. Nice little tail. You can see tech kind of dipped a little bit lower than SPY and some of the other indices that we've seen. So let's just trade this for what it is. If you look at IWM, this has been our leader. It was leading us to the downside earlier in pre-market, but not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Still lagging a little bit, not above its 15-minute high yet. So waiting for that to kind of play catch up. But we're getting some nice little movement in here in some of the other markets. The Dixie starting to cooperate a little bit, I guess. Starting to fall off as the market's kind of making its run in here. But the 10-year still, even though it's kind of pulled back a little bit from its highs, still hanging high in here as far as rates are concerned.
Yeah, right.
So still watching that, still going to be watching that. And so just be careful. Don't get FOMO in here because markets, buy on pullbacks and such like that. So if you look in here, if we look at the VIX still stubbornly kind of hanging up here. We did break 30 briefly this morning, got in there, but we've kind of been coming off of that ever since. And that's kind of been talk about the three horsemen or the three little piggies, as I like to call it. And, just keep on watching it. That's about it on my side. That's about it on my side, Ty. I'll hand it over to you so you can kind of, the elephant in the room, so to speak, I guess, is really oil, right?
Yeah.
I mean, OPEC saying F Joe Biden, I guess. Is that what OPEC's been saying?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know what Biden expects he can do at this point. I mean, there's nothing he could do because he's fighting a war he can't win. I mean, he's already drained our entire SPR. I mean, we have 22 days left as far as supply goes. I think the lowest levels is like 1984 or something like that. So we're at really extreme low levels, and so there's nothing you can even combat with their decision. Now they were already, they're already producing, I think, since August quota below 3.8 million barrels a day, under of what they were expecting. So they're already producing, a lot less. So this 2 million barrels a day is not really going to make a huge impact. But it just gives people, it's definitely the opposite, and trying to fight a war with Biden, saying, all right, you guys are going to keep fucking with the central banks, and you're going to keep, doing rate hikes. Well, we're just going to make energy more expensive for you right in front of your midterms. So they're kind of playing cat and mouse here, and OPEC's definitely going to win this war here. But looking at oil, it's interesting to me. I thought that we would get a sell-off into that. It's not a huge. I mean, obviously it's a pretty big cut, but it's not like it's going to make a significant impact on the market. A, because they're already producing under quota, and B, because it's just was already being priced in from this run here, and so but technicals take over at that point, and technicals say we're on a breakout here. Looking at overall price action, we have this trend line that I was talking about yesterday that we were breaking. I gave us a retest, the backside consolidated, now we're breaking out. So as long as we remain above this 87.30, which is that major area that I mentioned, then we get a nice bullish run to 95, 100 maybe. So right now, OPEC, their goal is to prop up the oil market price, and it's working. And so unless there's something crazy that Biden does, which is unlikely because he has really no control over the energy market right now, then it's probably going to just continue on its bullish run from here, and maybe retap 95. And then we'll kind of see where we're at when it hits 95, because 95 is that one of the strongest areas that I've been talking about for the last year here. So definitely watching that area. But yeah, I mean, right now it's just we're seeing a nice breakout here, and so I'm going to play it the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, that SBR, it's interesting that we're now at the record low 22 days of availability. I mean, and again, we all know it has nothing to do. I mean, SBR doesn't do anything, basically. And so releasing more oil out there when you're going to be at pretty much a net basis of, minus $1 million barrels a day, I guess they were saying?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. That's what I was saying. It's like Biden at this point has no way to really combat OPEC because he's already ran out the supply. So it's not much he can do other than just bitch. So, well, but I know that the Biden administration is not happy about that one, especially because they're trying to get them to increase production, and their entire SPR release really was just wasting our supply and did nothing. So it's just I'm sure that's not looking good for his approval rating or the Biden administration in general. So definitely doesn't help there. But oil price should remain elevated here and head towards 95 on this breakout. Definitely keeping an eye as a trailer on this 87.30. If at any point we reject this previous area here, maybe around 90, then 87.30 is going to have to hold. If it doesn't hold, then it's heading back down towards its lows. So as a trailer of price, keep an eye on 87.30 to see if we remain on elevated prices here.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, you can yell and jump up and down and scream and complain and do everything you're going to do, but it's market mechanism that's going on in here, and I don't know how they're going to really be able to do what they're doing there.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. And then looking at the Dixie, I mean, really the only thing that could keep a cap on the price of oil is going to be our lovely dollar, which is the one thing that the Fed's been controlling and manipulating this, like, pretty much this entire time, and everybody's just been pointing fingers at the Fed, saying, "Hey, you're killing our, global GDP. You're killing our freaking central bank system here. So stop what you're doing." And so that's really the only thing we have control over is the dollar, and we're seeing a nice pop in it today. So if we see this as a pivot in a lower high or a higher low for the Dixie, then we'll see how much room we have to go in oil as far as typically they trade inversely. So because energy, oil is priced in the dollar. So we'll see what happens here. Looking at today's price action, it bounced off of the perfect level, this 110 area that I was talking about yesterday. Came up into it, retested this breakout point, and we had a strong rally through. And this morning I mentioned this 111.60 area as far as, and I have this zone drawn. This is an area that I want to see us retest. As far as, are we going to extend this bullish rally off these lows here? This 111.60 is going to tell you the story. If we break above and retest it, that's going to be a sign that Dixie found the bottom here at 110, and we're going to rally back up towards 114. If we do see a rejection here, and this is just another lower high forming, and we come back down to retest 110, we could see some prices back down to 109, 108.50, and that would give us a higher low forming on the higher time frames here as far as this trend line dating back, I guess, this entire year. It's been riding the same trend line the entire year here. But looking at it, we'll see. Watching this 111.60 to see if
that's all, folks. Sorry.
That's all. To see if we get any indication on bullish momentum or not. So we'll see on that one. Gold, man. So I don't know if I could have done any. So this gold trade here, I took it for night.
Yeah, so can you explain your gold trade? Because I had a couple questions on that. So overnight, Tyler took another. He had one of his massive blowout trades. By the way, you posted your P&L in the room, didn't you?
Yeah, it's in the Discord. It's in the Forex section. 2 weeks in a row now, I've made 25 grand on one trade in gold. Another 25 grand, well, I guess 21 grand on this trade here. And it was, I even put it in the Discord at 6:30 p.m. I said, who's riding this massive gold dump overnight with me? Apparently nobody took it with me. So I
saw that, but next time, Ty, you got to clarify. I thought it was a joke. Okay?
I don't know. Come on, I don't joke.
I thought you were joking. I didn't know. I would have hopped in, but
I tried warning everybody.
Gold.
And
I mean,
6:30 I put that, and around 7 o'clock is when I took a short. So I took an initial. So I'll kind of run through the analysis on why I took the short here, because there was a couple reasons for this trade. So looking, and that's why it's important to understand time frame correlation and where you're at across all time frames, because the monthly chart, I knew we were at where we were at on the monthly chart, and we were heading back up to this monthly high here. And so I was keeping an eye on this whole zone in here, because this is a previous area that we've had as a monthly rejection of one of the highest time frames rejections. I went to the weekly chart and saw that this was a massive area of rejection as well on the weekly chart, the weeks of September and beginning of September, back here in April of 21, right in here. So this whole area, again, massive area of rejection on the weekly chart. And then we were in the daily chart, and I talked about this trend line yesterday as we were breaking through it. I was talking about it. I said, look, this trend line break here, it's going to be important to see how we react here, because this is a strong area of resistance. And so this could just be a tested candle before we then head back down and reject this trend line. And so that was another reason I was looking for it. And then along with, if you look at the move from the last week here, the 4-hour, very strong trends, very strong move on the 4-hour RSI. We were sitting at 81.30 overbought, and across all time frames, we were just sitting here very extended on the RSI as well. And so on top of that, where was the Dixie sitting? The Dixie was sitting at this really important 110 area. And you got to know, if you're trading gold, where's the Dixie at? Does the Dixie have any rebound in it? Because that's going to dictate where, potentially where gold can go. And I expected a nice bounce here in the dollar. And so I was ready to stack myself in short. So the way I do it is I don't go all in at once, because gold likes to tease bait people in, wick, and then run. And so in the off chance that it didn't do what I expected, I took one initial entry right in here at the beginning of Asian session after around like 7 p.m. Took a one entry here. And then what I actually did, because I expected gold to kind of play around for a little bit, not really do much, and I figured I'd be sleeping. And so I looked at it. I was like, what I'd expect gold to pull back a little bit, pump through these highs here, and then dump to where I expected it to go. Because that's just, once you understand how something works, you then know how to trade it. And so I then put a limit order right here, a break of these highs, right at this resistance here from the high of yesterday. I put a limit order there, and at 2:30 in the morning, it had wicked me in for my second short, and I had both take profits pending, sitting right here at 1703, and I wicked the exit as well, and this ended up being around a 5-to-1. And this exit here, couple things. This was one of the main pivot points the last couple of days here. If you look at this trend line here that I've been talking about the last, forever, dating back to 2015, this is that trend line. If you look at the lower time frames, this trend line right here it's the retest of it. So I figured we'd probably have some support there. And so it's just that simple. And what I did was I just set and forget. I set my levels, set my stop. I was like, it should respect structure. It should move within its range here. And around 6 in the morning, it hit my take profit on both positions, and I was out with the 20 grand winner. So it's not that complicated. Again,
I think that's important, for people to understand is, and I told my mentorship group this morning, I said, what a great try, right? And so, what I mean is, what a great exercise. If you have problems, because we're human beings. And so when you try to manage a trade and you're watching a trade, when you're in a freaking trade, you basically are going to F it up. Yeah. And so if you have problems with that, because trades should be mechanical. You set your stop where it invalidates the trade and you go. So for me, I really like that. And I think if you have problems with that, you should try, trading that way.
That's what I tell everybody. And that's why I do it, mainly because you can't get rid of human emotion. And that's obviously 80% of the battle in trading. And so if you can take away the human emotion of micromanaging your trade and thinking, oh, it's going against me, let me get out some. Like, I could have easily gotten out, somewhere on this pullback, somewhere here, but the fact that I understood that price, it has to breathe a little bit. It doesn't go straight down. It has to move. It has to fluctuate. But I knew that this stop loss invalidates the short, and I don't want to be in it anymore. So I put my stop there. I knew this take profit is where price should flow to. Understand how market flows, that's where it should head to. And so that's what I tell a lot of people is, look, set and forget your trade and just let it go. And I ended up making a full position 5-to-1 rather than just scalping in and out of this and making, small scalps here. So that's something that I think if you're struggling with, definitely try, but make sure you have the right stop loss that invalidates the trade there. So yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that was it. Pretty easy trade overnight. Didn't use any freaking fancy indicators, just went off structure. And
no fancy indicators, huh?
No fancy indicators. Just went off of market structure,
But, we got to find the holy grail of indicators.
That's what I'm saying. My holy grail is market structure. But looking at gold now, I talked about it on my stream this morning, is it's sitting in a collar right now, as far as not really sure where it's going to go. The bottom side here is this important trend line that I mentioned. Last time it went above it, we had a nice rally through. But we're also sitting on the top side of resistance here. This trend line that we're rejecting, this resistance that we're rejecting. And so we're kind of in between these two important levels that once we break one way or the other, I think we have a really nice extended move above 1730. Going to have a nice extended move towards 1800. Below 1702, going to have a nice pushback down towards 1650 area. So But my idea is keep an eye on the dollar. That's what's going to dictate which way gold's going to go. Follow the leader, as Mike would say.
I love that. It's easy, right? Follow the leader.
Follow the leader. Last but definitely least, Bitcoin. I talked about it. And I said yesterday I used Mal's theory on using Bitcoin as an indicator. Hasn't really been breaking out the market, and it's still stuck in this range here today. Still stuck in this range, hasn't done anything. So until Bitcoin can break out of 20,500 and really get some kind of risk on momentum in there, this rally in the market's going to be tough to keep going if that's an indicator you like using. But not, whatever, regardless whether you use that or not, Bitcoin, obviously it's stuck in this range here, and what you want to watch here is 20,500 breakout will get you a nice rally back towards 22,000. If we fail it, we'll probably head right back down to 18. So right now it's just kind of chopping around, but definitely the thing to keep an eye on to see if we get a market rally is going to be 20,500. That's the major area that we've been rejecting in this range here. But yeah, that's it for me. So I'll hand it back on over to you, and you can take it away. Take it away.
Wow, I wish I could say I had those kind of trades overnight, but I didn't trade overnight. I did hold some trades, actually. I take that back. So I'll get into those and talk about those. But yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's not hard to see. And again, we always use the tick to kind of, and we also have tick cumulative, and we have other indicators that we're looking at. But you can kind of see since the morning's kind of wash out with the extreme negative tick here. And interesting, right? You start off the day with a positive 1,700, and then yesterday and today you start off negative 1,700 almost on the tick. Just what a day of extremes. Welcome to a bear market, guys. You don't get these type during a bull market. So I'm one of the fools that loves these type of markets because they're giving us great trading opportunities. And does a really good job pissing the bears off and pissing the bulls off at the same time. And that's a hard thing to do. So anyhow, nice, we've just been slowly getting better and better until we capulated with, we had these nice extreme 1,200 positive tick levels, which, nice algo driven. And I agree with Mal, pretty much, I believe, an options fueled rally that we just had. Nice. When you have these, the reason you don't short dull markets is because if you look at the volume, it's just very dull. It's a holiday. It's a Jewish holiday. We talked about it. So it allows these algos to come in and manipulate it. So definitely a different volume breadth of day than what we saw in the past. So, just enjoy it for what it is. And if you look here, this is the 30-minute ES tie, and I like to get your opinion of this, right? Because just you have this level right here, which was this 37.65 area around here, and pretty decent area as far as kind of got a little cup, right? Little cup and handle forming. So we dipped down below it, kind of came down. This is the reason I thought we'd come down to the 37.30 area. This is the area I thought we'd get to. We didn't quite get there, so it kind of left me unsatisfied because I had a long kind of planned right off of here. So, yep. Again, I know I say don't be a dick for a tick.
Yeah, right.
But I was a dick for a tick, and I missed this complete rally out of here because I'm waiting for 37.30, and I'm like standing at the altar. But what's your viewpoint of this chart, Ty? And I'm curious to get your viewpoints on this.
Yeah, I was looking at the same area you had as well, but my main idea was this range here, where this previous, because what stands out to me most on charts or wicks here, and this big wick through this resistance area kind of stood out to me the most. So I threw a level in here, and I was looking for somewhere in this area for a rejection. And as far as as far as the structure goes, this was a previous swing high. Broke it, retested it, and now we're pushing off of it. And so you'd expect to get a nice rally off of it. And if you throw your Fibonacci somewhere on there, then I'm sure it's somewhere back up here is where my take profit would be, 3,900 for this new temporary bullish structure on the lower time frames here. So I'd expect a continued rally off this low. But if it gives up 37.40, it's dead in the water. Break a structure to the downside. We're heading back down to lows. So, but it should maintain stance here.
Yeah. So, big man, what happened? What happened is just not many traders today.
Yeah.
Lighter volume. We're on the RVOL. We're 0.5, which means we're not even we're we're 50% off of volume that we typically see at this time, which allows some manipulation. But it gave some great trades here. One trade I did get was this short tide. Look at this one. So you had this nice little trend line happening from the top of yesterday as we had this big volume bar up here. And the whole pre-market, we were pretty much being rejected by VWAP, and had this nice little trend line. So right at 9:30, they tried to pierce it above, and it was also coincided with this 3775, which is a pretty decent level to trade against, and we shorted this all the way back down.
Yeah, it's a nice short.
So it's giving some great trades in here. Gave a great ES short right in here, and then again reclaiming this 3750 area. We always talk about good setups. I mean, look at this. Break up into 3760, come back down. Like you said, Ty, you got this little wick, okay, to sucker in the shorts, and then they explode this thing out for a nice little 1.5% rally. Yep. So nice A+ setup in here. And that's the type of trades that we're teaching our mentors to take, right? And like yesterday, we had such good setups yesterday. We had a nice little go and retest into this area. We had the same thing here. So we had two nice trades out of this area here. And then you had this little mid-afternoon when we were on the show. It looked like they were going to sell it off. And that area is now proven to be a pretty decent area in here, as we show you, a breakout up into here, come back and retest this and go. So you have some really good structure on an ES. How do you trade this? You don't chase these bars. You buy the retest of the breakout area.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's given some really good trades on the ES. So Theo, good job if you're able to catch a nice little bounce off the bottom. Really doing well. And Mark, you're like the wolf, man. You're like the guy that cries wolf every freaking time. It's hard to keep up with your meta calls because you called out meta yesterday and it went back and broke new lows. So, you called out meta in Discord right here at 140, and then we went down to 135. So it's kind of hard to keep up with your meta calls in here. But look, I'll say it again. Bulls, you can't get too high. Bears, you can't get too low. Because, and that's what I was saying. Meta about ready to break the 52-week low. So I think meta, look, I told you, Mark, I'm going to buy with you. But I'm going to buy under 100. Okay, so about the 100th time you try to jump into meta, and I know, look, Mark's buying the bottom, selling the top. So, good for him. If he's actually making money at it, and you could have bought the lows down here. If you bought down where it made a nice little, I would have bought. Ty, I like the meta trade right here off 135.25 on the lower time frame.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you thinking right there? So I like to buy off this lower time frame here. So if you bought this bounce, Mark, kudos to you because you got a nice little 2 to 3 point upswing off the bottom, and you had a nice small stop loss because you just put your stop loss at the lows here.
Yep.
So that's how I would have traded meta today, and it is giving you a nice bounce, but just make sure you take your profits because we're not even back up even close to yesterday's lows, and that tells me even with this nice little upswing that meta is starting to slow down, and you got to be a little careful of that one. So good job good job if you're kind of catching some of those trades in there, Mark, because I know we go back and forth on that, but if you're catching some of these bounces off the bottom, they could be some decent trades. Okay. As far as our trades today, I got to bring up my list, right? I mean, we had some good call outs today in Discord. And this is the day I came in with a really shit list. I was like, I don't like anything, but the one stock we had, which was Piggy, I call it Piggy. Peggy with a pineapple. It's the pineapple. Dude, how can you not like an energy company called Pineapple Energy? Okay. It was rallying. I couldn't find any news on it. And look at this setup, Ty. I mean, this setup was beautiful. So I mentioned, okay, we had this pre-market high. It was holding VWAP going into the open. So this one I was very confident in. Bought the break. If you didn't buy the break, you had an opportunity in this flag in here. And right up to 3. Right up to 3. And pierced 3, rejected beautiful. So now we're back into this range. You could have bought this rebreak of the 225. I don't know how much more you're going to get in it. But I mean, right now, this was, a pretty decent trade. So I hope some of my guys in the Discord and in the mentor room, I hope they captured some of this trade because it was a decent trade. We talked about the oil trade, Ty. Devon Energy, right? Look at this. Look at this dip by opportunity off here. And by the way, I showed you this trend line, and we're back above it. But I showed you this trend line. Look at this peak above and then reject.
Yep.
And now they're back above it. But interesting trading opportunity in Devon today. Oxy, same thing. Nice opportunity. Oxy, keep on going. I saw Hess Energy was doing good. You had Indo that halted on the first bar. So I didn't play this one today because this one halted first bar out of the gate. I mean, just halted right here. So, we were right to kind of stay away from that one. Hess, I don't know if I went over Hess, but Hess Energy, same kind of dip buy that we're seeing in all these. I mean, look at Hess coming up into almost like this triple top in here. So I would be careful of these in here because I don't know. They've come so far so fast. I got to give a shout out, though, a couple of my traders. So PCG, this is 2 days in a row. This was Desire's call. So look at this trend line break, Ty. 1, 2, 3. Nice little run up in PCG. And I got to give a call out to Michael S. again on SBUX. Nice little second day play as it's gotten now as far as I think it's going to go up into this area, but you are above the 200, so you could keep on going. But nice little trading action in there on Starbucks for 2 days in a row. Just these low volume days, you got these stocks like AVDL kind of popping up. This is your popper of the day, up 40%, Ty. When we came on the show, it was 760. I was thinking about buying it, but I know I couldn't, watch it. So no more order fills for me. You also have this root beer company that's, up 7%. You got these shit companies. So just be careful if you're buying in. But I will tell you this, Chewy, you remember Chewy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Chewy getting in action, up 10%, running up, breaking through the 100. So I'm not sure. I don't see any news on Chewy either. But nice little action on Chewy here. And look at this escalator ride up as they ride the 22 up. So some nice trades going on in here. Some nice stops. I did take a trade on Amazon. Amazon, nice little trader up in here. And look, again, going off the meta trade, same thing with Amazon. Nice little run up here. Amazon better trade for me because at least we got close to to the lows in here and actually pierce through. So it gives you now a level to kind of trade against in a stopping ground. So Amazon, decent trader. You know what my top trade of the day was, Ty?
What's that?
Short and Tesla, baby.
Oh,
And Mal would be proud of me.
Mal excited.
So I'm going to share. I did jump the gun on this, Ty, but this is another important lesson. I keep on telling my traders, you got to get, just because you lose on your first attempt doesn't mean that you just say, oh, woe is me, lick your wounds, and off you go. I jumped the gun. I actually called a short rate in here off the get-go. I was actually in pre-market. I was sitting nicely, and then it just popped up. So I got out right here and then reinitiated once we broke VWAP again.
Yeah, give it a second chance.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, and you know how many times we review our trades with our traders, okay, and they don't go back into a trade, after they had a poor entry.
Yeah, dude, you'll see me on my stream if you pay attention all the time. I might be a little early on oil, but I'll get back in and make 3 times what I lost. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. And the problem is, oh, I lost money, bad entry. F you. Get over yourself. Stop crying. Losses are part of the game. And jump in this thing, man.
Right.
Jump in this thing. Because, look, 244. Now, I bagged out early at 236, I think is where I got out. No, 238. I got out 238, which was in this consolidation in here. But you could have took this one all the way down to 234, 233. I mean, that's just a great winner on a really good short on Tesla. And I think and I'm going to make Mal's day. I think that this is a long-term short because, look, Musk is going to have to close the deal. And not many, I don't see a lot of people talking about this, but the banks, here's the problem with Musk now trying to close this deal. Okay, how are the investment banks? They're gonna lose some money on this deal. Okay, because the investment banks are gonna have a hard time selling bonds to finance this deal. How are they going to sell bonds? What rate, are they going to get now to close this Twitter deal? So my feeling in my long-term short on Tesla is that Musk, now that he's closing the deal, he's going to have to put up more capital. And I think you're going to see a lot more stock sales coming from Musk in Tesla going forward. And so that's my thesis there. So I would definitely be careful. Great trade. It was a great trade today. If you guys, and I gave this was the one trade that I had in my group. I didn't have many today. It was the Tesla. The other thing is I took the opportunity of the dip to add the Boyle tie.
Oh.
And Bornalam, I don't think he's in here. But Bornalam, I'm going to call him out, man, because he had an opportunity today, okay, in the pre-market to add, and you can see our trade thesis is that, okay, Nat Gas buying it up off the 200, okay. Well, if you look, we had a nice little trade in Boyle, and we're sitting in this long term. And if you look at the pre-market, you could have added into this thing at 51. Okay, which is not far off from where we added down here at 50. So, if you got in 51, 51.50 in here, Ty, I mean, you're up almost 10, you're up 10%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, I don't know. I look, I got added some stocks in front of the OPEC meeting, but I didn't think OPEC I think that was pretty much written in. I was looking for a sell the news fact. Plus, I just think, I just thought it was a great trade. So, stocks usually will give you another opportunity to get in. Just got to take advantage. So now we're kind of sitting up here at 55. The question is, Ty, and Bornalam. This is for Tyler and Bornalam, okay? And I don't look at Boyle because this is just a vehicle, okay? I care less what that fucking chart looks like. Okay, let's look at the chart in Nat Gas. What are you guys thinking, man? You think we can keep an extended run, or do I take my 10% gain?
Oh, no doubt, dude. No doubt. This thing's just getting started. I mean, I have the same analysis as yesterday.
Okay, let's look at the 4-hour chart because I did not pull up the 4-hour chart yesterday. And what I like is on the hourly, it got above the 200 here, which is nice for me from a short-term perspective. But here's the 4-hour chart. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so I mean, not yesterday. Previously, we obviously had this head and shoulders here, and so I think we at least get a run towards this 750 area out from the break of these lows. So what I like mainly is we had a break of the lows here. We had a nice 4-hour retest. I'd expect a continuation towards 750, at least to retest that neckline here. And then we'll see where we go from there. But I think we're at least going to get a little bit of a lift off from here.
Yeah, I like that. And that's what I'm going. So it's unusual for me to make a call to hold because I'm a short term. I get scared out of it. I get scared when the wind blows. So if you're looking at Boyle, where's that going to take me up in Boyle here? That's probably going to take me up. Oh, look at that baby. Born alarm. Don't be a dick for a tick, man. Come on. Come on. All right. Well, obviously that's not guaranteed. But if we go up to 75, I'm liking this chart more and more actually as I look at this 4-hour chart. I'm liking that a lot.
It's nice.
Wow. Shit. Tyler, tell them the odds of me holding this thing to 75.
Yeah, the odds.
0. It looks good, but you get me to 60, I'm probably bailing on this sucker.
Yeah, right?
I have the patience of a mouse rat. Seriously, I'm not getting in that freaking thing. I didn't mean to stop cheering. But yeah, I mean man, that's looking like a good trade. I'm liking that stuff. So, I also played around with Valero a little bit. Hold on, let me pull this up. I hate Thinkorswim. And by the way, we don't use Thinkorswim to trade. We just use it for this freaking effing charts. And I don't know why I do. You know why? Because I've used it forever. I like this Valero. I've been trading at Valero today as well, kind of fooling around. This is one of my energy plays. But I like this chart a lot, Type. I had some balls I kind of hold in here. And maybe traded some, but I don't know. But I did want to point out, remember what we said last week, that it might be time to short the solar stock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it didn't prove to be right. That was a bad call because they bounced back up. Remember First Solar yesterday had a nice little flag? Well, look at EMPH today. So we were a week little early. Look at my money machine. What it's doing today, down 11%. Now, to be fair, Carlson came out with a short thesis on this, and I'm not sure if it had an effect because I don't see like a news drop on it. But they've come out and basically said they think that the EV market, the EV, so, my PBW that I typically followed, it's been strong. So look at these stocks. So for you Rivian folks, Mark, be careful. It's holding up better, but look at XPEV. I mean, this thing just, going to the depths of where it crawled out of. And, if,
You clicked on the wrong ticker.
Oh, I did. Sorry about that. I did. It's user error, as it usually is. Look at this rejection off of the 200. Man, that would have been nice. Nice, XPEV going back. What's NEO doing? Kind of dropping off. I think these are all shorts. Lucid was stronger. Nope, dropping off. So, and when the Queen Bee is dropping off, which is Tesla, I think these are all shorts. EMPH would have been, I think it's, a good, it's a good start to the day. So you're starting to see these First Solar back to where it broke out from. Still holding up, though. Better than expected. But if First Solar breaks this 21 tie, look out below.
Yeah.
Okay. Look out below. You're definitely going right to the 50.
Yep.
Okay. Because look at this. There's a lot of profits sitting in here. And right now the short sellers can't break it. But if it breaks the 21, because it has been a nice little hold, look out below. So this is a long-term short for me that I'm looking to eventually fall off and break. So that's one of my theses going forward. Ford, some chatter on Ford, kind of bounced off, got some loving, but this thing, I thought it might fill the gap today. It didn't, but I think this is something to be shorted as we go forward. So looking here, again, I'd be careful with semis. It's kind of leading us today. XBI not doing much. Let's look at the semis kind of leading us. I'm a big Wolf fan. I've traded this a bunch today. This is the one I kind of gravitated to. It was a nice trader yesterday. It actually was a nice buy off the dip in here, but I'd be careful. There's some news to drop from the White House. I think it's a time to reload shorts on those. And I don't like the fact that sector, along with energy, is kind of leading us. BTU, man, would have been a great dip buy from the pre-market. BTU dropped yesterday and was kind of dropping in pre-market, and look what it's done. So nice surge. That was a decent type of trade and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, look, I see you guys.
This conversation's hilarious.
I can't.
I've just been sitting here. I need popcorn. I've been sitting here.
You guys are like a sideshow, man. Hood. Okay. So, I'm not dipping my toe in this, but I mean, all I got to say is look left. My mentor used to tell me all the time, Michael, look left. Why the F would I want to buy this stock?
Yep.
And he was right all the time, because look at all the bag holders sitting in here. So I know we're getting a little bit of a rounded bottom. And it's getting a little bounce up recently over the last couple weeks. The reason it's got this rounded bottom is because, the SEC's basically capitulated on payment for order flow, which, a company like Hood gets a little bit of it's going to get some money flow in based off of that news. So that's why we've kind of gotten this rounded bottom. But again, I feel like I'm talking to Mo here. These are the Mo type charts he always has us look at, right? Mark, I want you to come to me tomorrow with a freaking good looking chart that, we can all buy. I mean, Hood, look, this thing gets any momentum going. These people, and if you say institutions are in here, they're going to be hammering every, and look, we have a hedge fund. So if I'm sitting in a lot of shares of Hood at 35 or 25, if this thing gets up to 12, I'm hammering. I'm letting a little out, right, Ty?
Yeah.
If it drops back down and it gets somehow to 15, I'm letting more out. So I'm not the only fund manager that's doing that. You've got other fund managers doing the same thing. So they're all there ready, trying to offload these bullshit shares. I mean, and that's the other thing I didn't bring up with our wonderful Cathie Wood. Is she out of business yet? Because this lady takes buying shit to a new level. She bought Tesla. When did she buy Tesla? Monday, right? She bought Tesla in here, Tyler.
That's what she does.
It's now even lower. So this lady is like a mathematical genius. She keeps on doing the same shit over and over again. So and to me, Hood and Meta have completely different issues. Meta's lost its way completely. Okay, users are fleeing the platform, and it has no vision. Okay. So, yeah, you can look left on Meta, but the good thing about Meta is, like Mark keeps on saying, it's under book value, yada, yada, yada. It's down at technical levels. But the problem is, and institutions, I think, will stick with Meta a lot more than they would stick with Hood. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop it from going below 100. That's my belief. So, because it's not going up when the rest of the market goes up, right, Ty?
Right.
So just find better charts, please. Just stop falling in love with companies, and you'll be amazed how much money you make. I mean, I love AMD, but am I buying AMD here, Ty?
Fuck no.
I love AMD.
It's broken.
I used to be an Intel guy, but I love AMD. But I'm not buying AMD in here. I love NVIDIA. I'm not buying NVIDIA. I love Goldman Sachs, and I love Goldman Sachs when it broke through book value, and it looked like it blew book value again because I think that was around here with Goldman Sachs, I believe. Am I buying Goldman Sachs below book value? No, because there's much more pain to possibly go on. So be careful. It's what we call a value trap, okay? And, there's something called price to earnings or earnings per share. There's two sides to the equation. We have the price side, which is what you're going. So you guys are going off the price side, okay, based off the current E. Well, guess what? The current E is going to hit us next week, and we're expecting another 10% down from where the current E is, which means that forward-looking price to earnings or earnings per share is going to go up. We said we're upwards to 17, and that historically, in a bear market, that bottoms out at 12 if we're going to have a recession. A lot of ifs in there, but still, that doesn't give me a lot of hope. So you got the E side, you got the P side, and the E side, yeah, I think I saw earnings have been revised down so far 6%. But we saw Hasbro. Did you see Hasbro yesterday? I missed that. Came out and warned. Okay, I think it was, or maybe it was the day. It was the day before. No, it was yesterday. This is what happens. This is the risk that we have going into earnings. We're going to start the pre-warnings and the revisions. And if you think Hasbro warned, what do you think happened to Mattel? Same thing. So be careful. Things can get way more out of whack than you think, and value can get way more out of whack than you think. And so definitely something to think about. All right, well, that's enough from me. Ty, closing thoughts. Let me pull up my trade thing here on where we are with the SPY. What's your closing thoughts in here? We tried to go, Dow went green, and here's something of note. The Dow went green, and we immediately reversed 80 points. Immediately.
Yeah.
So to show you the Dow, because we very hardly ever bring up because it's a shit index.
That's what I used to trade.
Well, yeah, futures, yeah, US 30, right?
Yeah.
But look at this, Ty. Look at this. This is, went green and immediately just hightailed out of it 150 points.
Yep.
So I believe, and it's a great point at Mal, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, we saw heavy put buyers starting to pop back in. I believe this was a option-induced rally here. Now, it doesn't mean it can't continue or we can't go to higher, but if you let me pull up the 5 minute, I'll let you quote on the 5 minute, and then we can kind of hightail out of here. Look at that reversal candle on the 5 minute. So
yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. It's just the main area I want to watch and see hold heading into the end of the day is really the bottom that we just created here. Yesterday, that's really where the battleground was after we had peaked for the day. It's kind of the pivot point we're seeing now as far as the last, recent price action. So,
Tyler,
huh?
You are so much better at this than I am.
No,
I know, seriously. When you do an analysis, it's like Da Vinci, man. The shit just appears on the charts. Wow,
it's like, wow,
I like
it's that clear, huh?
Yeah.
We give up 376. I think we get an extended pullback in the end of the day. But I still like higher time frame where we stand as far as we retested structure. We went higher, so I'd expect us to maintain elevation here. But if we do give up 375, 376, then I think we get a sell-off at the end of the day. But
see, I just bought. I bought your analysis.
Here we go. You pushed it up.
Here we go. Mike pushed it up. I bought
makers.
Literally off. All right, me. I take my profits.
I'm out.
I'm out. Oh shit, that's funny. What a way to finish the day.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so you heard it there from Tyler. Don't let that 375, 80, 376 level break. If we're up and above, we can get going again.
Sir, awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in today, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the feedback and the commentary. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's fun watching you guys, the Bulls and the Bears, fight itself out in the fucking chat.
Entertainment itself in the chat today, that's for sure. I really enjoyed the Bulls and Bear fight. But we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Safe trading.